everyone, my name is Joe, welcome to the Genius of Joe. Guys, this is the third episode of my new series, Road to Vogue. If you don't know what a series is, or if you haven't seen the last two episodes, it's basically just like a series of you joining me on my journey into getting any of my work published into Vogue. It's basically just gonna be like a breakdown of my photo shoots that I'm doing, that I've done, just to help you guys out, see my workflow, see how my process, see how I work, and hopefully this is very helpful for you guys. I don't know. So right now we're at the studio. Well, this is not the studio, of course. The studio is actually in there, but the vibe of the shoot, I'm going for something more like abstract, something more, I don't know, there's something more like more artsy, if that makes sense. Artsy, abstract. I'm gonna put a moody effects filter on this, a Prism Lens Effects moody effects filter, and what this does is basically adds like a starburst effect to bright parts in the image, and the model is going to wear sunglasses, so I'm going to have light glaring off the sunglasses and get like a starburst effect, some cool shit like that, right? All cool stuff. The model what we're doing today is his name's Luke. He's a dancer, so we're definitely gonna, because he's a dancer, we have to do some crazy like dance moves, some flips. I don't know what you can do, but we can do some kind of this crazy stuff, right? So with this type of stuff too, obviously I probably wouldn't be able to use the audio from the clips, because I'm gonna be playing music. Because guys, if they're gonna do dance moves and stuff like that, you gotta play music. At the end of the day, you can't tell a model to be like, I'm gonna start doing dance moves and start doing interactive or dynamic poses without music. You need to get them in the flow. And that really does help with the whole general environment of the shoot too. So with the lighting, I'm definitely trying something new here. I'm trying some gradient stuff. I'll talk about that more in the lighting section, for now, just to let you know, I've got some cool gradient lighting going on, something new I haven't tried before, challenging myself a little bit, help me try something new and improve as a portrait photographer, because I feel like if I stick to the stuff I already know, it isn't going to be the best. But in terms of gear that I'm using my Canon R6, my trusty Canon R6 I've always used on every shoot. I've got my 24-70 Sigma, 24-70 EF, 24-70 f2.8, and obviously, like I said earlier, the Moody FX filter by Prism Lens Effects, just to get that starburst effect. See if I like it. I might not even use it because it has a pro mist effect in it. I don't know if I want a pro mist, but yeah, I'm gonna see how it goes. And in terms of lights, I've got my small rig 220 watt cob lights and my soft boxes. You'll see them in the clips. Things I use basically on every shoot now. I've used them on the last two episodes of Road to Vogue. By the way, if you haven't watched any of those two episodes, I'll put the first episode up here. I'll also put the second episode in the links in the description below where you can check it out. Guys, you'll learn so much on these shoots. These are long episodes, right? 20+ minutes. You're gonna learn so much from these, I think, especially if you want to get into portrait photography or fashion photography. Yeah, guys, I'm just gonna mention something real quick, a little tip as well before we start. I've got this little book, it doesn't have to be this book specifically, but I've got a little notebook, and I've got just a bunch of notes written down that I look at before my shoot. There's little things that sometimes I forget while I'm on the shoot. I've got stuff like adjust the lighting, use the modeling light on my strobe, check each light one at a time, adjust exposure accordingly to the lights, use strobe as top light, be calm, pay attention to lighting. Just basic stuff like that. Like, you might think, well, that's obvious, right? Adjust the lighting, but guys, the issue with a lot of portrait photographers, especially portrait photographers that I've actually coached, they always say, like, if you actually look at it, well, they don't say, but if you can tell in their work that they're just rushing things too quick, and they're not calming, they're not like taking a step back and being like, let's look at the environment, what is the best photo opportunity here, especially if it's outdoor stuff. So guys, be calm, pay attention to your surroundings, don't rush into the shoot, because you notice that you forget a lot of photo things. You forget, like, about if you're in a studio, you forget about adjusting your lights when the model moves somewhere, or you just forget these little like things that just ruin your photos, or just don't get the best photos that you want to get. So one rule would be, I love write some little notes in my notebook, little things that I want to look over before the shoot, just so I can finalize and just like pick at everything, all the flaws that I make on the shoot. Boom. But before we start, guys, I just want to quickly introduce myself. My name is Joe, of course. I'm a professional portrait photographer who's looking to help other portrait photographers like yourself not only improve, but start to make work that actually stands out to the rest of the competition and land more clients, guys. So if you're interested in that, guys, feel free to subscribe to the channel, like the video, all that type of stuff. And once I've gained your trust and you want more personal advice, top links in the description is my one-to-one portrait photography coaching program, where I will personally go on calls with you and I'll give you advice that is tailored to your work. So if you're interested in that, top links in the description so you can check it out and learn more. Okay, so the pre-production phase for this shoot was actually quite simple and minimal, in fact. I met Luke, or the model, through a method that I haven't done before, right? I usually meet my models through two different ways to collaborate with them. I either message them through Instagram, or they message me through Instagram, or I have this website that I use called Model Management, which is basically like you post a casting for a certain shoot idea and they can apply through that. But this time with Luke, I actually just found him on the streets. So not in that way as if like he's some homeless guy that I just picked on the streets, like, yo, model for me or anything like that. None of that. What was in, I literally saw him and I simply approached him. I was literally just in the city center for some reason. I think I just finished filming a video or whatever at the time. I was just like chilling, right, walking around, and I saw this guy. He had this really cool hair, he had a nice fashion sense, he had his cool sunglasses on, and I was like, I'm always looking for new people to photograph and looking for very unique looking people to photograph. So I was like, fuck it, right? Let's go up to them, and I approached him. So I just introduced myself basically, right? I told him my name, told him that I'm a photographer, I want to do photo shoots with people. And then he said he told me that he was a dancer, which I think was amazing. You already know that from the intro that I told you. Because he's a dancer, we can experiment with all types of dynamic poses. So simply had a little conversation, talked back and forth, whatever, exchanged Instagrams, and then we went about our days, really. So yeah, guys, that's another little method that you guys can use to find models to shoot with, right? Just simply cold approach them. It's like now I'm going to turn into a PUA coach now. I'm a PUA coach now. My channel's Red Pill. That's what I'm doing now. But with all seriousness, guys, yeah. This is actually a really good method to find models, but I don't think it's better than online, because obviously you're way more likely to find a model online than you are to find in public. But if you're in public, right, and you see this guy with a really cool style, or a girl with a really cool style, and like it looks like someone who would be really good to photograph, just go up to them, ask them like, oh, you're like, do you model? We should do a photo shoot sometime. Just, you know what I mean, like getting out of your comfort zone and actually just like building some confidence up to do that. Like, I don't think it hurts, guys. I don't think if you see some guy with a cool style, I don't think it hurts just to go up to them and ask them for shit, right? And also, guys, if you're struggling with finding models to collaborate with, I actually have a full guide and full video which I'll put up here, which you can watch after this, where I'll help you with that struggle.
Hello, fly chick coming through. Nice to meet you, glad you came too.
So in terms of outfits, I basically just wanted him to wear exactly what he was wearing when I first approached him. So he had on these sunglasses, t-shirt, baggy jeans, a jacket, all that type of stuff. So for this shoot, I was going for this more incognito and modern spy type of look. So the sunglasses was the main theme and subject around this whole photo shoot. And like I said in the intro, guys, as well, I was using this Moody Effects filter, which had this starburst effect on it. So I had the light glaring off the sunglasses, creating that starburst effect, which is something that I was planning on getting in my photos. It adds this more like pop and like funky look to the photos, which is really cool. Because like you have this, with the black and white grade, you have this like, again, this incognito look, this more spy, which is like mysterious type of look, added with the starburst effect, just makes, I don't know, they contrast very well together. Overall, guys, the outfits turned out very well and it really fit the theme in hand. But guys, like I say in all my other videos, right, you have to think about these external factors if you want to make and improve your photos. You may think stuff like outfits and costume design and location isn't really important in your portrait photography, but guys, it definitely is, because it's in your photo. It's obviously to do with your photography because people see it. It's one of the first things that people see when they look at your photo. And these external factors highly affect how you approach your lens choices, your compositions, and your lighting. Not keeping these external factors in consideration will prevent you from taking the best photos you want to take. Okay guys, I'm just going to discuss the lighting real quick. This is after the shoot, by the way, so the model's not here, but whatever. So to get the gradient thing that I did, all I did was have these two softboxes here, or lights of a softbox, and then put the grid on it. All I did was I placed it opposite like that, boom, and then you get this little black line in the middle where there's no light, and then that's why you get that, like, there's light here, where there's no light in the middle, kind of like centers the subject a bit more. I don't know, something new I wanted to try, you know what I mean? Something different. I've seen it before by some fashion photographers. So some fashion photographers have done it before, like Holly McCandless Desmond, if you know who that is. I'll probably pop up on the screen some reference photos, what I'm talking about. Hopefully, obviously I haven't seen the photos yet, hopefully they turned out good, but I don't know. But yeah, and I also obviously had, it's not there now, but I had a Nanlite 60B as the key light. I had my strobe initially, but the modeling light on it, which is the continuous light mode, it was so dark, it was still really dim, and I still couldn't really focus on the subject, and the image was too dark for the lens to actually focus. So then I had to switch to a continuous light. Yeah, it's just stressful times. What do you guys think of this lighting setup? Comment down below what you guys think of this little lighting setup, the gradient thing. If you think it's cool, if you think it's not cool, whatever. Anyway, that is it. I'll go back to the park with me now. So the lighting part of the shoot was definitely the most fun, but also definitely the most stressful. So as you can tell from the clip that I just played, I wanted to try something new that I've never done before in my lighting. Technically I did this on my last Road to Vogue episode, which I'll put up here by the way, we should watch after this video, with different colours. But this time I wanted to create white and grey gradients. Now I don't really talk about my inspirations on this channel so much, not because I don't have any inspirations in my photography, but more because most of the things I think of come off really off the top of the head, really, rather than from other people. I'm not saying that like my work is so unique and it's never been done before or anything like that, but most of the things I think of is from my own head. But this time was a bit different. For this lighting setup, specifically for the gradient stuff that I did in the background, that was actually heavily inspired by one of my favorite, or even my favorite fashion photographers, Holly McCandless Desmond. Specifically when she did this photo shoot with Nikon a while back, where it had these white and grey gradients in the background. So I love the way how it was bright in the corners and then it was quite dark in the middle where the model was. I think this is an amazing technique because not only does it look unique, but also it kind of draws your eyes to the model in a way, because you've got that bright parts in the corner of the images, in the corner of the background and the photo, but then you have the dark part where the model is, so it kind of centers the model a little bit more and again draws your eyes to the subject. So this was basically my best attempt at replicating this. So for this look, you want to have two lights with softboxes on them with honeycomb grid specifically. And then obviously you want to light the background. So you want to have one of the lights pointing kind of further up in the top left and the other one pointing in the bottom right. And then what we want to do is feather the lighting where only the corners of that light from that softbox is hitting the background in the frame. So if you don't know what feathering means, it essentially means slightly pointing the light away from the thing that you're trying to light. So only the edges of that light are lighting the subject or the intended background. So the reason why you want to feather the light here is because, as you can kind of tell from the clips and the BTS clips, the light from the softbox is brightest in the middle and then it slowly gets dimmer when it gets closer to the edges. We only want the edges of the light to light the background, that's because, as you can kind of tell from the Holly's photos, or look at my photos for example, we don't want the background to be too blown out and fully pure white. So you want to only get the edges so it has that more subtle effect on your photos. And that's why we should use soft lighting too, rather than a hard light source. Yes, you probably could use a hard light source and do the same thing and feathering it, right? But for me, I personally found out that soft lighting was much better to get this effect. Now, the only issue with this lighting technique or with this like gradient type of style in the background is that you have to constantly keep an eye on the gradient when you switch poses or when you switch angles. So for some of the shots, I completely forgot to look at the gradient in the background and I completely missed it. So in some of the photos you probably could tell there's no gradient at all because I'm not keeping an eye on it, right? So what you want to do, obviously for the gradient, you want to have the darkest parts in the middle where the model is. So obviously when you're switching angles, you have to keep an eye on where the softboxes are being placed and where they're lighting in the background. This is definitely a lighting technique that I want to try again because I feel like it's a quite unique way to light your subjects. It's a bit tedious at times, but I quite like the tediousness of it. I like how you have to be super precise with it, and if you do it properly, you can get some really good results from it. Okay, so now onto the key light that I used, right? This was definitely the most stressful and annoying part about this lighting setup, right? I'll explain to you guys in a bit, right? So for this, I knew I wanted a hard light source because I wanted that glare in the sunglasses, and the best way to get that glare was through a hard light source. So I had my New Vision 4 strobe with a beauty dish on it, which I eventually switched out for a reflector dish with a 10-degree honeycomb on it. So the one annoying thing about this strobe and the trigger that comes with the strobe, which is basically something that you put on top of the camera, right? It has no focus assist. And if you don't know what focus assist is, all it is, guys, focus assist is, right? You don't know what that is, right? All it does is makes the back screen on your camera really bright, so it makes it easier for it to focus on a subject. So you can probably tell if you put like a speed light flash on it or something like that, your image just gets brighter, even if the image will be dark, it just makes it brighter, so it's easier for focusing and stuff like that. But my trigger and my flash or whatever didn't have that. And because there was no other light on the model's face apart from that key light, it was finding it so difficult just to focus on the model's face. So if you saw the first episode of Road to Vogue of this series, right, I said in that video, the one mistake that I made was I did not use the modeling light on my flash to basically almost get rid of this issue of, oh, it's too dark to focus on anything, right? But this time I actually did use the modeling light, but I found out, right, the modeling light on my light, which is basically the continuous light mode on my flash, is so dim that it barely even illuminates the model's face. So it didn't really do much at all. So I basically had no choice but to switch out my strobe for a continuous light source. I had this Nanlite 60B available to me, which was already in the studio anyway, so I used that instead. I did try to swap out one of my small rig lights that was lighting the background for the strobe, so I had the small rig as the key light, but I noticed that the strobe was much brighter than the other small rig light, so the gradient was very uneven. So one of them was really bright and one of them was really dark, so I couldn't really use that at all. The Nanlite 60B wasn't the most ideal key light to use because of its low watt power, only 60 watts. But I don't think the 60 watts was really the big deal. It was more because of the reflector dish that I use, and the honeycomb really dims down the lighting a lot in your photos. So 60 watts was quite shit, and it was kind of pathetic, right? But all I need to know now, guys, is that I need to fucking upgrade my strobe, right? To be fair, my strobe was about £150 that I got it for, so you get what you pay for, I guess. But cheap strobes aside, guys, I had my key light placed at a quite high angle because I wanted the light to catch on the frames of the sunglasses, because like I said, guys, I want to get that glare, to get that starburst effect. It took a lot of playing around with the lighting, like fiddling around with like the positioning of where the model should look and where the light should be, but it was worth it, I think. But that's it really for the lighting, guys. There's 3 lights. I actually had a 4th light, my Amaran F22C, to light up as a fill light to light up the bottom part of the outfit when I did those full shots, but it didn't really do much at all. I was going for this more surreal and odd look anyway in my photos, so it probably looked better that only the face was illuminated and the rest of the body or the outfit was in darkness anyway. Guys, you need to keep in mind the story and the message you want to tell in your photos to help you know how to navigate things like your lighting. And you notice, guys, once you've found that story or theme or message, things like lighting become second nature to you, because you kind of know how you should navigate your lighting to reinforce that theme. And if you're struggling with the basics of portrait lighting, guys, I actually have my full lighting course, which I'll link below, where I'll just go over the basics of portrait lighting. So I'll go over that, I'll go over strobes, continuous lighting, the differences, different lighting techniques, how to actually light with intention and tell a story in your lighting, all this type of stuff. So if you don't know anything about lighting right now, how to light your model or anything like that, this video course will be perfect for you. So again, guys, that's linked below if you want to check it out and learn more. So as you can tell from the photos, I went for this more high contrast, harsh black and white look in my photos with a lot of grain added on top of that. And this is why I wanted the key light to be a hard light source, because getting those harsh shadows on the model's face accentuated that harsh and high contrasty look that I was going for. And to be honest, right, on the day of the photo shoot, and I was looking through the photos through the camera, the raw photos, they looked really disappointing. I was not happy with them, like, at all, really. Some of them, I feel like I liked some of them, but overall I feel like I wasn't really happy with the photos. But as soon as I started editing them and putting them into post, that completely changed. and I think they look great. So guys, comment down below which is your favorite photo, or let me know if you actually like the grade that I was going for. Okay guys, I just want to quickly show you how I edit my black and white photos. So usually what most people do, they just click this black and white button, boom, black and white, they start adjusting some exposures or whatever, they're doing that, playing with the sliders, whatever, well, do that, like all that type of stuff, right? But you notice if you just do it that way, look how flat it is. There's not much detail at all compared to this one, for example. Obviously that one isn't edited as much, but obviously look at that compared to this. Obviously, even if I edited this more, it isn't going to look the same as the one that I actually edited, right? So the way that I like to do this, and a new method that I discovered, well, I didn't actually discover it like by myself or anything like that. I actually found a YouTube video on it. I'll put that in the description below, where it definitely told me how to edit black and white photos. Or I didn't discover this method or anything like that, but watch that video for more of a detailed breakdown. But I will quickly briefly tell you how to do it in this video. Okay, so let's quickly reset all these sliders, right? Let's quickly reset everything. Okay, obviously I had to do the crop as well. Okay, this is how I would do it, right? Or in the video that told me how to do it. So first, instead of clicking this black and white button, you want to go down to this color mixer sliders here. You want to go down to saturation, and you just want to turn down all of these colors, just the -100, right? All the way down to get this black and white look. So that's kind of similar of how you clicked if you just click the black and white button. So you got this now. Then what you want to do is get the exposure and turn it down a bit. I like to just do like that much, and then also turn down the blacks. So turn the blacks like down like that. And then what you're gonna do is push the whites and shadows up a little bit. So get the whites up and then the shadows up like that. Similar to that, right? And the beauty of this one is you can actually just move the white balance sliders and it would actually adjust the exposure. So here I would put the white balance to 2000. As you can see, look how bright it is, right? Same thing with the tint. Do the same thing, but now that's like, see how it's changing the exposure, the highlights, it's weird, right? So the effect it has on the image by doing that. So now put that to 150. Now, if I go over to, I'll go back to the HSL sliders real quick, right? If I just go click it to disable it, you can see that the whole image is basically green. So what I want to do is go to the luminance section here, go to green, and then just up it a little bit. I put it to about 11. Right, because that kind of ups the highlights in your image a little bit, because obviously, as you can see, the highlights were green, as you can see. And then from here, what I like to do is go to the presence sliders here, so texture, clarity, dehaze, and just play around with this. So I like to add some clarity, some dehaze, because I use the Promise filter, so I want to dehaze it a little bit. I didn't want to really get that super soft look, so I'm getting that up a little bit like that. That's it really. That is it really. Now it's just all about just adjusting the basic sliders here. So now just adjusting the exposure, bringing that up a little bit like that, playing that around, maybe add some contrast, you know what I mean? Turn down the highlights a little bit, all this type of stuff, get the blacks down or the up, I don't know, all that type of stuff. What I like to do with the original one, I added vignetting, so I add some vignetting to it, add some grain, and boom, there you have it really. So if I look at this one and then this one, there's not really much difference like at all, because obviously I didn't even like, see that obviously the sliders are a little bit different here. Obviously I could just copied and pasted it, but if I'm just going from scratch again, this is what I would do. Add that little bit, maybe the highlights down, whites down, maybe, I don't know, like, there you go. See how much better it looks compared to if you just converted it to black and white using this button. But yeah, that's it guys, really. I just want to give you a little quick tutorial on how I edit black and white photos. I find that if I edit black and white photos like this, I get much more contrast, much more detail in my images. It just looks better, and it's much better than just going black and white button, clicking the black and white button, because I feel like if you do that way, it's more flat, it looks a bit washed out, it isn't the best look. So this is the way how I like to edit my black and white photos. Obviously you don't have to edit your black and white photos like this, but I would 100% recommend trying out on your next photo shoot or something, or photos that you already have. Just look over them, edit the ones that are already in black and white, maybe edit it in this way, see the differences between them both. Anyway guys, that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys found this useful. Guys, I'm trying to teach you guys something new on every single episode of Road to Vogue because I feel like I learn something new on every photo shoot that I do, so why not teach that to you guys? And if you want more advice about your portrait photography beyond these YouTube videos, again guys, like I said in the intro, top links in the description is my one-to-one portrait photography coaching program where I will personally go on calls with you, I'll critique your portrait work, and I'll just give you general portrait photography advice that I have gained over multiple years of experience, so you can start accelerating your portrait photography progress now rather than later. So guys, if you're interested in that, top links in the description so you can check it out and learn more. And guys, like I said in the lighting section, guys, my portrait lighting course is linked below. My full video lighting course below, I don't know, right? That's linked below, which is, again, I go over all the basics of portrait lighting. So if you know nothing about portrait lighting right now, you will learn so much about how to light your models, how to light with intention, how to different lighting techniques, all this type of stuff that you need to know when lighting your models and all the type of stuff in fashion photography and portrait photography. So guys, if you're interested in that, that's linked below where you can check it out and learn more. And if you're struggling with the basics of your camera guys and you want to start shooting fully manual, don't really know how to use shutter speed, aperture, ISO, guys, my free exposure triangle guide video course, which I'll link below, where I will help you with those issues. So I'll go over not only how to use the settings, but how to approach the settings depending on the photo taking scenario that you're in. So if you want this guide, all you need to do is click my link below, which is my website, scroll down a bit, see this little block, put your name, email address in, click get your guide, and I'll send you that guide for free. Anyway guys, that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. Click on any of these videos here to learn more about portrait photography, and I'll see you next time guys. Goodbye.